You got me singing and a dancing and a laughing and a clapping and a skipping and a jumping, and I think I'm never gonna get enough of you.
Today we're in my favorite community in British Columbia, the beautiful Comox Valley, and it's my favorite because it's where I'm from and the community I get to represent. So today we're having the very first community consultation, and it's going really well. The government committed to creating a white paper talking about how British Columbia can become the most progressive jurisdiction for persons with disability in all of Canada.
Event tonight, I think that it's been really beneficial. I didn't hear about this ever happening before, and it feels good to be able to kind of express the way that I feel about how I participate as a citizen of British Columbia and let the government know what we need.
I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think the government is taking all the right steps and moving towards bringing interagencies together, working cooperatively and collaboratively together. Doing that in itself is going to improve efficiencies. It brings costs down, it improves services, makes everybody happy.
It's making all of us sitting at the table aware of just the needs, and not just the needs, but the successes of other organizations that work with people with disabilities, as well as the individuals who have disabilities.
Unlike some white papers where government writes the solutions in advance and then goes out to the population and says, did we get it right? We're doing it backwards. We're actually going to the community. We want to talk to individuals with disabilities, their family members, community support groups, business owners, the whole broad section of the community, and ask them what we can do to become the most progressive jurisdiction. And today in this community, I think we have a great turnout.
You're always standing by my side and never let a day go by that you don't make me feel a high and keep on loving me no matter what I seem to do. And I've been waiting so long for you. Da, 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 da,
Vancouver at the Sutton Hotel at the second of our two downtown Vancouver roundtable conversations. And we made a promise in our platform as BC Liberals to make British Columbia the most progressive jurisdiction in Canada for persons with disabilities. And to do that, we need to make sure we include the disability community, their family, the groups that work with those individuals, society in general. And so today, we're inviting the community to come and have a conversation with us about what we can do to become the most progressive jurisdiction.
This white paper consultation has been fabulous. It's joining the government with the people actually experiencing it on a day-to-day basis, collaborating together to make BC a better place for people with disabilities to live, so that we can be part of the community.
I think it's great. I mean, I think, like the minister said, this can't be just a government-driven consultation process or initiative. It has to involve, most importantly, people living with disabilities, but also bringing in community service providers, the business community, and so on.
A lot of the inclusiveness we're working to is about attitudes, and the attitudes of employers, the attitudes of your fellow citizens. That is so key. People accept that, that we are an inclusive society, that everyone should feel a part of it, and we're all better off when that happens. Then I think that is my vision of a progressive, inclusive society.
Somebody with a disability will tell you that, to be really successful as a person with disability, you have to be innovative, because your whole life you spend figuring out ways to do things a little differently, to get the same outcomes as your peers who just keep doing things the same way and getting the same results. So I think that that's what the business community has to accept or has to embrace, is the idea that we may be doing things differently, but you know what, there's a lot of innovation there.
The reality is there are some common themes amongst all communities, but there's also some regional differences based on geography, climate, economic activity, and so it's really important that we have a really strong, robust voice across this province.
For you.
British Columbia at the 11th community consultation, and we're at the halfway point. We started in the Comox Valley, we've been up to Prince George, we've been down to Surrey, Vancouver Island, and now we're in beautiful Okanagan.
I think this is an awesome idea, because how do we know these situations exist if we don't talk about them?
I'm hoping that this is a forum where we can at least, gain some recognition and hopefully reduce the isolation of people who have a severe hearing loss.
One of the innovations we've talked about is the volunteer piece. For example, we have in Vernon the school children coming into our soup kitchen to do volunteer work. We have a community garden that was recently started, so wanting to bring folks who traditionally haven't held employment to get involved being outside, getting their hands dirty and things like that. So
myself have found it very frustrating and very degrading because you're looked at differently. You look at me and you don't think I'm disabled, but then if I tell you I'm on disability and I'm dependent on the government, you're looked down upon. And it's not right. There's a lot of us that are willing and able, and it's hard. It's all a catch-22, and it leads into depression. You want to be part of the community, but there's on some days where I just don't have the energy or the strength, and I can't get out. And so if we all come together and we push for this, I think that BC is going to be a better place.
Well, one of the things that this community consultation, but at all the community consultations is, as a politician, it's not about us talking, it's about us listening. And Vernon is definitely stepping up to the plate. They are providing solutions, they're pointing out where their gaps are in service providing, and not just with the ministry, but also maybe at different levels of government, but also how we can make things a little better for persons not just with disabilities, but all society.
You got me singing and a dancing and a laughing and a clapping and a skipping and a jumping, and I know I'm never gonna get enough of you. And now you're standing by my side, never let a day go by that you don't make me feel a high, and keep on loving me no matter what I seem to do.
Our deaf and hard of hearing folks are using their first language today. So they're using sign language, and this is a terrific opportunity for them to speak freely and quickly. And yes, it's a great opportunity. They could have participated in the other number of consultation groups, however, it would have slowed it down. But this is their first language, and they're here this evening en masse, and they're talking about their experiences, which are quite similar. And the Minister of Social Development has added this session. I want to thank the Minister for adding this session because it made it possible for them to come together in a large number. My hope is that there will be some suggestions and some solutions to reducing the barriers and increasing accessibility for BC, not just in the business community, but in the government, business, and home communities, where I believe, I'd like to say, it should be an equal opportunity for all citizens, whether they are citizens with disabilities or not. And I think the disability view, they have found that it may not be such a barrier for them, but regarding our deaf and hard of hearing constituents, they notice the limitations. For example, the radio is not accessible to them. I came this evening by SkyTrain. It was a slow SkyTrain, and I heard that there were some public announcements coming onto the trains, but I wasn't aware of them. So I felt immediately disenfranchised in that SkyTrain, and I think that's what people are wanting, is to have equal access to information.
There's a lot of power in this room. So I think that you have really done a tremendous service to the province and to all people with disabilities by what you've done tonight. So I look forward to returning tomorrow to Victoria, to the Minister, and tell him the wonderful things that have gone on here. I learned so much, and I want to thank you for making this such a successful evening. Good luck.
Da 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 da.
Victoria, having our 21st community consultation, and you can see behind me that the room is incredibly well attended and people are vigorously participating in the discussion.
I think when a government really engages the people, that's when things get exciting, and that is when it becomes meaningful. And that's when you know the government actually cares, I think. Really, when it comes to eradicating stigma, I always say one thing, and there's one really positive thing you can do to get rid of it, is to have open and frank conversations around personal stories. People who have a mental illness or who have a disability or who have a story to share that story.
I think it gives people the opportunity to contribute to the process that may not have the opportunities prior. It may have been made at a higher level than the community level, and this consultation process really has opened the doors and give everybody in BC an opportunity to express their opinions, express their concerns, and hopefully make change.
You know, whether we're talking about a consultation in a place like Prince George or Fort St. John or here in Victoria, the community participation has been phenomenal. We've had capacity rooms at almost every venue. We've had great suggestions. We've had great critique. We have great ideas about how we as government, but as society, can be a more inclusive society. And it's because of individuals taking time out of their busy lives to tell us what we could do to do better for persons with disabilities.
Dreams would never come true. I've been waiting
such a long time for you, and I can see my dreams have finally come true.
And I've been waiting such a long